Hello, hello. If you are seeing me for the first time, my name is Lily and I am the one behind Lily's Book Vlog. And today I thought we would do a little reading vlog. A week-long little reading vlog, just going over what I'm reading, how many pages I'm reading, yada yada yada, right? So, currently I'm in the middle of a couple of books, but the main one I am trying to focus on right now and trying to finish is going to be Nevernight. This is Jay Kristof, and this is book 1 in a trilogy, I believe it says on the back. Yeah, epic fantasy trilogy. And I saw it at the library and I thought it looked pretty cool, and one of my daughters added it on my June TBR, so I thought I would read it. And currently I am on page 77, chapter 7. The one thing that's a little weird with this book though is that this is the start of chapter 7 and this was all chapter 6. So I'm not used to chapters being just randomly thrown in the middle of the page. I'm used to having a break and then chapter starting on another page. So this is a little different. But this book too is just a little different for me as well. It's a lot more kind of epic fantasy, high stakes, a little harder to get into. And then it kind of reminds me of the time I tried to read R.F. Kuang's Babel. And it had little footnotes to give you information and ideas of what they were talking about in the actual story. So you would have to stop to go read the footnote. And so that's what this kind of does. And so it's a little difficult, but this one's a little more easier because whereas with Babel, that one was a lot more academic and trying to figure out stuff. This one's more, it is giving you history, but some of it is kind of trying to be a little humorous, strangely. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's taking a while. That's for sure. So this is my main focus, so you'll hopefully be seeing me read this a lot, but if not, I do have a couple other books that I am in the middle of as well that I might show throughout this video as well. So I will let you guys know how this goes when I update it and all that, and I will see you then. Bye. Hello guys, it's been a day or two maybe, I don't remember, but I have been reading Nevernight. I think I was on chapter 8 or something, which was on page 77, or chapter 7 I think is where I was, and now I'm on chapter 12, page 138, so I am getting farther along in the book. And I don't think I mentioned 100% what this book was about. I did mention that it's a trilogy and it's an epic fantasy. And that it has little footnotes at the bottom that remind me of R.F. Kuang's Babel, which I started but then had to DNF because it was too much. This one is about a girl named Mia who is basically trying to become an assassin. And she goes to this red church, which is the best assassin academy, I guess, and is doing it all in hopes of getting the skills to enact revenge on the people who murdered her father, but they claimed her father was a traitor. And so it's kind of a political team that kind of said that her father was a traitor and killed him. And then they also took her mother and baby brother. And so she got trained by this one guy, and then she went to go find this red church, I think is what it was called. And basically, yeah, she goes to the red church, and basically she's gonna learn to become an assassin. And it starts with learning a little bit about her past, and then what's going on current, past, past. But then we got to part 2 in the book, where basically now it's full-on training at this academy. Although it's not really an academy, it's like, I don't even know what the correct word is, but basically they're there to learn to become assassins, even more so than they are. They're there to learn how to trick, lie, deceive, poison, kill, fight, all this stuff. And this one is more darker a little bit than, like, say, Throne of Glass and stuff, where you hear Selena learn to fight and all that. There was a part I read where basically she was fighting the guy, one of their teachers, and she used her dark magic that she has, and like was able to like draw blood on him, and he got pissed and then like cut off her arm. And then they have people to put it back together. So yeah. There's that. So it's a little dark and it's interesting. And there was one, I guess you would say, student who was murdered after their first day there. So there's like a little bit of like, who did it, why, what's going on kind of stuff. So there is that. But so far it's not bad. It's pretty interesting. The second part, the first part was dragging for me, but the second part seems to be picking up and getting more interesting. So we will see how that goes later. Alright guys, it's been like a day, I think, maybe more. I'm gonna be honest, I'm really bad at remembering the days I do this with, but I think I do that on purpose because I might forget. But anyways, in regards to Nevernight, I am officially over halfway. I'm on page 248, but I hit a bit of a problem because I just don't care anymore. I'm reading it and I'm like, there's more stuff going on. There's more like students or like assassins that are trying to become like these blades that I just don't care about. But more of them are dying, and more are like, you know who the main ones are, and it's like cool, great, but I'm just at that point where I'm just like, I don't care, kind of. Like, they're teenagers, most of them, and they're here trying to become assassins, and then they're basically having everything like taught to them in harder ways, which I'm like, makes sense, right? Like, how do you learn about poisons and stuff? You get poisoned, you're gonna learn stuff like that. But then there's people who are dying from it. And right now, she has it where she's trying to figure out why her shadow cat or whatever disappeared. And what it means. And then she's just having a bit of anxiety because, again, you're going back to seeing her past for some of this stuff. And there's something that happened that we're almost at, but I just kind of am at that point where I just don't care right now. And so I'm a bit of an impasse, I don't know. I'm struggling, okay? So I went from reading this and I was like, I need something more fun, more lighthearted, something that's going to actually like be something that I want. So I decided to go with The Entanglement of Rival Wizards. Again, I have been reading Sara Rasch and her books, and I really like them. They're like fun and lighthearted, but still like realistic and stuff. And they're mostly romances. I think the next one she has, though, is a male-female one, so it's regular. But right now, it's and I don't mind it. And I am at roughly page 70. And I started this, I think, yesterday, if not this morning, more so, I think. And I'm enjoying this a lot more than I am Nevernight and stuff. So I'm going to keep reading this book and stuff and put a pause on Nevernight for now. I'll probably try to finish it here and there. I might have to do what I've done before, which is like, if I finish a chapter here or in a different book, then I'll read a chapter there. Something like that. Unless like something truly grips me in Nevernight, it makes me want to read. But right now, I'm at that part where I'm not invested and stuff. But also real quick, in regards to this is about Sebastian and LiQWYD. And they are both in college. They're both trying to do this grant to progress their field of study. And they both don't like each other because they're both at opposite fields of study that are always rivals. But for this grant, they have to work together and stuff in order to get the money for their projects and stuff. And they're at the end of their college thing. And we're mostly going through Sebastian's point of view. Apparently, LiQWYD, I don't know how to say his name, is like kind of a nepo baby where his parents are like rich and like everyone knows him, and like they donated a wing to the college and stuff. And Sebastian is a bit of a troublemaker who's got a goal, got a passion, but he does troublemaking to like release pent-up anger and anxiety and other issues that he has. But he really cares about this project, and he's more mad because he has to work with someone who's opposite of him. So they just started working together and have issues, obviously, so haven't got too far, but we'll see how this goes, and I will let you know how either of these go in the next update, and we will see how that goes. But bye. Alright guys, today's the last update for this reading vlog. It's been roughly a week. I'm gonna say that. I think it's roughly been a week since I started this. And I feel bad because I felt like I was just reading one book for the entire time. And then now, that book was Nevernight. And now I'm gonna DNF it because I just don't care. And I don't know if it's my mood with this book has changed. Like, again, it wasn't that it's a bad book. I think I'm just not in the mood to read it, which sucks because I got like halfway. I got to 248 in this book, and it's like 400 something. But I stopped caring all of a sudden, and the thought of picking it up just doesn't cross my mind. So I am DNFing this. Again, not bad, it's just I don't want to read it right now, and I don't know if I will pick it up again or not. I don't know. And one thing I will say though too is that what kind of makes it difficult, and why I think it could be my mood too, is that he says in the back that he does not believe in happy endings, and I'm a sucker for happy endings. Like, I get fantasy has some like deep and dark and hard things, but it's all worth it if there's a happy ending. And when I saw that, and then everything I'm reading, I'm like, if it doesn't end on a happy ending, I'm like, I don't know if I want to keep reading. And I think that's what made it where I just did not care. So while I was avoiding that and debating at the time if I wanted to keep going or not, I read The Entanglement of Rival Wizards, which I think I told you guys is the fact that they have it where they're both going after a grant, but both are on different sides. And you learn that Sebastian also has an issue with Faerie, his family. This one I finished. I finished it. I devoured it all in like a day and a half maybe. I'm not even sure. But I read this and I like loved it. It wasn't a 5-star. It was like a 4.25. There's some stuff in here where it's just like, it's very spicy compared to her other ones, like very. But I did like it, but there's some parts of it that are also like a little difficult. Like, there is some abuse and suffering and stuff and trauma, but like it was also funny and like lighthearted in certain spots, and like it was good. So this one I finished and I gave it a 4.5. No, 4.25, I believe. But like I said, I really like this one. And so I think in a way I need some stuff that's like lighthearted or fun, but I'm also trying to get through my TBR. So now I'm going to read Mad Mabel. I don't have the cover. It's like somewhere over there. But I'm going to read Mad Mabel, which is about an 81-year-old lady who is living her best life in a neighborhood, but then all of a sudden somebody dies or is murdered. And now she's worried because back in the day she used to be like Australia's most known like murderer, I guess. And so she has like a little girl across the street like poking her nose and stuff. And so far I've only read like one page, maybe two. Like literally I just picked it up not too long ago. And it's already funny because basically she says the two types of people that are least likely to be thought of as murderers are elderly and young girls. And it's always men, with occasional like woman thrown into the mix, but usually men. And already that is like so interesting and funny to me. So I'm gonna read this, but that is it for my vlog for this week. Like I said, I didn't get very far. I DNF'd one book, finished one, starting another, and I do have an ebook that I am reading as well. I think it's like The Scholar and the Last Fairy Door or something. But I haven't read it in a minute because it is on my phone. And my phone screen is like very small. And trying to read it on there, it says it's like 1,000 pages. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to. So that one I am reading as well. But I don't know. We'll see. But those are my updates for now on the books that I read this week. I know there's not a lot. Again, we are getting in the process of trying to figure out where we're going to move and what we're going to do and everything. So it's a little still kind of chaotic, and I thought it wasn't going to be. And I also thought I was going to finish this book a lot quicker and instead DNF'd it. So there's just a lot. So if you guys were here till the end, leave a comment down below telling me your summer, how's it going so far. And then if you like this content, make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time with another video. Bye.